What for you is diversity and inclusion?
If I was to explain diversity to somebody that didn't really understand it, and this is the definition that everyone understands, it's the practice of equality and inclusion from for people from different kind of social and economic kind of backgrounds. But to take it a step further, inclusion is the bit that comes after that, which is where it's really the practice and the act of actually including people in that kind of process. And I sometimes use this analogy of it's almost like being invited to a party, and everybody enjoys being invited to a party. But when you get invited to a party and then somebody asks you to dance, I always take it a step further. Instead of just invited to the party and being asked to dance, what if you're actually part of the party planning committee? That's when everybody's kind of included, and that's when everybody feels very invested. So it's a slightly different analogy, but it's one that sometimes helps to explain to people what diversity and inclusion is in a very simple way.
I love that. That's a great analogy.
And it's really so important because I think people, to your point, they just focus on that let's just get people that look different into the organization. But if they're coming into an environment where they can't succeed, they can't thrive, it's one that's maybe doesn't allow them to be themselves, where the difference is actually held against them, they're not going to succeed and they're not going to stay. And then you're back to square one again. You're having to rehire. So it's really, really important that diversity and inclusion also go very much hand in hand. It's not just bringing people in that look different. You've got to create the right environment and atmosphere so people can really be them true, authentic selves.
What would you say are the benefits of diversity and inclusion for smaller businesses?
I think the benefits for any business, whether you're a small business or you're large corporate, I think the benefits are pretty much the same because your customer base are all different. And how do you connect and engage with your customers if you don't really understand them or they're not really properly represented? I don't know any business that's just got one demographic of customers. They tend to have a selection of people. So for you to create the right kind of products and services, you need to have that representation and that understanding of how your community or your audiences think or your customer base thinks. So you're able to create the right kind of products that then, increases your bottom line, increases your sales. So for me, it's something that's fundamental for any business, irrelevant of size.